Hello everybody, this is my reaction video of the fourth round matches at Wimbledon, and all of the matches were played today at Manic Monday, as we call it in tennis terms, because this day will decide who's gonna enter to the next round, the quarterfinals. And today's matches was very interesting match here in advance, except Rafael Nadal's match, who everybody knew that was totally 100% sure win for Rafael Nadal. And also Novak's match against the young French guy Hugo Humbert, who defeated Aliassime in the previous round in a convincing way. So I didn't watch Novak's game today, but from what I have heard and from the highlights that I saw, Novak is looking solid from the baseline as usual. He has 100% focus on his game. He's out here to win this Wimbledon title, and he's the man to beat still. But he hasn't impressed me most this tournament. Novak is always a slow starter. He can drop a set here and there, but as longer he goes, the deeper he goes in the tournament, he will become the overwhelming favorite, except on the clay surface at Roland Garros, where Nadal is will always be the favorite as long as he plays and as long as he's injury free. And there is only one man that can take him down there, and that is Novak Djokovic, and not Dominic Thiem as many people thought. But he did well at tournament also. But now let's go and talk about today's matches. Novak cruised into the quarterfinals, where he's gonna beat the Belgian David Goffin, who defeated Fernando Verdasco in 4 sets today. It was a clinical, typical Goffin match. He grinded him down from the baseline. And this match I actually watched 2 sets. Both players did many unforced errors, and Verdasco didn't convert 4 set points in the first set, and he lost that set eventually in tiebreak to Goffin. Then came back to win the second set, but lost the third and fourth set. And Goffin is gonna face Novak Djokovic now, so we all know how that match is gonna end on advance. Novak is the overwhelming favorite and will book his place in the semifinal. I have no doubt about it. And on the upper half of the draw, we also saw RBA play today, Roberto Bautista Agut. He did a solid performance today. I forgot who he played against. My mind is standing still now. But anyway, he cruised into the quarterfinal also. He won in 3 straight sets. And that quarter will decide if he's gonna meet Milos Raonic or Mikhail Kukushkin, and they are playing now, and they into the 5th set battle here. And that match is looking very interesting, because the Kukushkin plays very good today. We are not used to see these kind of players in the 4th round or maybe a quarterfinal, so it's good for tennis. But this young is not a young guy. He has been here for a while on the ATP tour, so Raonic has to dig deep to win this 5th set, and right now I think the score is 2-2. But that match will decide who Roberto Bautista Agut will face in the quarterfinals. And then of course we have Rafael Nadal. What can we say about this not young, I'm just joking, this phenomenon from Mallorca? The tennis, the clay court, the grass court, the hard court superstar. Until today's tournament, he is the one that impressed me most, because on advance everybody was talking about Rafael Nadal's draw. He had the toughest draw. He should be seated at 2nd spot, not the 3rd. And I told you in my Wimbledon draw video that Nadal's biggest opponent until a potential semifinal will be Nick Kyrgios in the second round. So after Rafa won that match, I was 100% sure that he was gonna be in the semifinal, because Rafael looked so good this tournament. I haven't seen him play this good at Wimbledon. He played very well, yes, last year against Novak, where he lost a tough, hard battle where the match was decided in 2 points, I think, and that fifth set Novak prevailed and won. Rafa could have easily won that match also, and if he had won, he would probably beat Kevin Anderson also in the final, because he was exhausted after the tough matches against Roger Federer in the quarter and against Isner in the semifinal. So Rafa is looking superb this year. Until today, he was the guy that has impressed me most. He's looking very dangerous. I haven't seen him this good on the grass since last year, and before that, the year he won, and that was in 2010. Rafa have improved everything in his game since his last Wimbledon victory. His returns especially, his serve replacements, his shot selection, and the most important thing, but he only goes and rushes the net on easy or selected occasions, because Rafael is a smart guy. He's not stupid. He's not rushing in onto the net. He takes always the safe. He tries to do everything he can do from the baseline. But when he goes to the net, when he approaches the net, he is one of the most successful players on net. I think even more than Federer, but they have two different playing styles. So you know that Federer takes more risk than Rafa, and that's why he loses more points on when he approaches the net. So Nadal, this is starting to remind me of the 2010 year, where he literally was the only good player on tour. Yes, he won 3 Grand Slam that year. He didn't win the Australian Open, but he won French Open, Wimbledon, and US Open that year, and it was perhaps his best year and the best I've seen from him. But since that, his defensive play has been better. He have reached another level. He's almost as good as defensive or offensive player from both sides. And that means, like we have been talking before, hundred of times, that the only way to beat Rafa is to play like Novak. And Novak seems to be the only guy that can beat Rafa. Because Rafa, you know, he's not Santa Claus. You have to dig deep. You have to find every tool in your box and use them right to beat Rafael Nadal. It doesn't matter if it's French Open or US Open. It's like that almost in every match. And Rafael have lost a couple of Grand Slams matches here at Wimbledon, against Darcy's, against Lucas Rosol, Kyrgios, Dustin Brown, 2 times against Gilles Muller from Luxembourg. And all of those matches, if I can recall, except the Darcy's match, Rafael didn't play that good, but all of the other matches, the opponents played the best matches of their lives. Nick was 19 years old, and Dustin Brown, I don't know what he ate for breakfast that day, but he was almost invincible on court. He would probably beat Federer that day too, if I have to be honest. But anyway, Rafa is looking scary, and if he meet Roger Federer, I think Roger won't be the favorite in that match. I have Roger Federer in my Wimbledon preview draw, that I thought that Roger Federer is gonna reach the finals and beat Rafa at the semifinal. But from what I'm looking for the first 4 round matches, Rafa is consistent as ever, as usual. He does everything. When you see a Rafael Nadal match, you don't have to worry about how he's gonna play. He plays exactly the same. Tight. No rooms for so much errors. And Rafa is a better player, in my opinion, than the last time he won Wimbledon. Why? Like I told you before, he has improved his defensive skills, his net game, his serve, his replacement on returns. When he stands 4 or 5 meters behind the baseline to pick up the serve from his opponent. Everything Rafael does seems to be calculated like a robot, but that's Rafa's play style, and that was make him so unique and so hard to beat. Rafa is Rafa. And with that said, I want to go into Roger Federer's performance, because what separates Novak, Roger and Rafa from the others is their energy, their focus, their willing to win, their consistency on the court. They play against quality players mostly all the time. We have new generation players all the time that's popping up. Some of them doesn't take the step, like we have many names just to remind you, as Tsonga, Raonic, we have Dimitrov, Berdych, Zverev, etc., etc. Those are guys that has come up to the tennis serve the last 15 years, that everybody thought they were gonna dethrone these 3 guys, but none of them have succeeded. And Federer, a guy that is 37 years old, it's pretty remarkable that he keeps this high level. Even if I think that he has won his last Grand Slam final, he's still there. Semi-final at Roland Garros. First time he participates since 2015, or was it 16? I forgot. But anyway, and that shows how good quality he still possesses in his rackets, in his mind. And Roger knows exactly what to do. Of course, Rafa and Novak has been much better than Roger the last 16 to 18 months. They've actually been better than him since his last Grand Slam final victory in Australian Open in 2018 January. But Federer won 3 titles this year. But can he make it for today? This year, with this tournament? No, I don't think so. Why? Because I told him in my previous video, he can never beat Rafa and Novak back to back. He is not that consistent anymore. And he doesn't move that like he used to move, and his forehand is not deadly as before. But except today. Today I saw a new kind of play from Roger. Not new, but it reminds me of his old days. But let's face it, he beat this high Italian guy, Berrettini, who is a solid grass court player. He's the second best grass court player this year after Roger. He won Stuttgart and reached the semifinals of Halle, and now the 4th round at Wimbledon. So he shouldn't be ashamed about the other performances. But today, it seems like the heat of the moment took its part, because Matteo has a huge, powerful serve. He serves around 130 miles per hour, 220 kilometers to 230 kilometers per hour every serve. But he's not accurate. He's not good at finding angles and diverse his serve. Not a good serve diverse, like Federer. You don't have to serve hard to win points on your second serve. You just have to be accurate and the server replacement is of course very important. So Matteo was taken by the heat of the moment, but let's not take the victory from Roger Federer, because when have you seen Roger Federer only make 5 unforced errors in a Grand Slam event? When? If you're a statistic nerd, please tell me. Otherwise, I can't recall. So today, Roger's performance he had this energy. You knew from the beginning that he tried to keep this match short as possible. He was focused as usual. His forehand, that's what impressed me most today, and his serve. That reminded me of old Roger Federer. So Roger's chances to cruise on to the semi-final, he has to face Kei Nishikori in the quarterfinal, and that is a match that he should win. After what I see Roger today, his movement was top notch from corner to corner. His shot selections. The only thing I can complain is his net game. He made one or two bad decisions, but 5 unforced errors in this match in total. We are not used to see that. Normally he leaks unforced errors from his backhand returns, especially. And his return game today was also good, because let's face it, Berrettini didn't have many first serves in. I forgot the stats, but I think it was under 50%. But anyway, to return a such powerful serve, and of course the Italian again made some crucial mistakes, smash, volley, easy points that he should have won. I can count them. It was 3 or 4 easy points, and it was very important points in the match. So now Federer looking superb, Rafa is looking superb, Novak is looking superb. One of these guys is gonna win this tournament. Most likely Novak, because he will only face one of these two players. But Rafa and Roger have to probably face each other, and then Novak, because Novak's route to the final is almost a cake. How do you say? Walk in the park, not cake. Cake is something else. But anyway, to be honest, I was mostly impressed by Roger today, because even if Berrettini played that bad, I didn't expect Roger to be that clean in his shot, in his decisions, in his forehand and his backhand. That was what impressed me most today. And of course, Rafa doesn't impress me anymore, because I knew exactly how Rafa is playing, and I know exactly how he's gonna play against his opponent. Because when he plays against tricky opponents like Kyrgios and a guy like Novak, we know that Rafa can be in trouble. And the rivalry between Federer and Nadal, some call it a rivalry. It's a big rivalry, of course. The two of the greatest players that ever played. But Nadal has dominated him in Grand Slam, and if he wins against Roger again at Wimbledon, where the balls are heavy. After a little bit of research, I thought that the course was much slower than before, but I was wrong. It's the ballers that are heavier, and that's why it looks so slow on the court. But now we know that. So Roger has to rely on his game, that he's gonna play exactly like today if you're gonna meet Nadal, and that, my friends, will be very difficult, because he won't win against Rafa in 1 hour and 17 minutes. He has to struggle at least 3, 4, 5 hours, and a match like today is good for him, because he saves energy, and will probably defeat Kei in 3 or 4 sets, in my opinion. That's what I predict. So we have to see. May the best man win. But all in all, Novak is still the favorite, because Rafa has a little bit tricky opponent. One of my upsets alerts when he's gonna face Sam Querrey, who reached the semifinals at 2017, and he lost the final at Eastbourne against Taylor Fritz. So he will be not a tough nut to crack for Nadal, but one or two sets can go to tiebreak, because Querrey has a solid serve, and he knows that the only way for him to win is not that he has a tremendous returning game or baseline game, is to keep his serve in check. The serve machine must be oiled and fluid if he's gonna beat Rafael Nadal. That's what he has to. That's how he has to perform against Rafa. And of course, you can wish that Rafa is gonna have a bad day, but probably not, because he's the most consistent player of all. And you have seen in this tournament, what did João Sousa do against Rafael Nadal? Nothing. He's a clay court specialist. He has a lucky run at this Wimbledon event, but Rafa is looking ruthless, and I'm glad to see Roger play this well, because it gave me hope of that the match on advance against Nadal, which I think they both go to the semifinal, will be a little more exciting, because until today Federer haven't looking super sharp. He has too easy opponent that you can't wait in if it was a good win for Roger or not. Harris and Clark, I've never heard them before they entered this tournament. And Lucas Pouille, we know he's a okay player, but not a threat to a guy like Federer. So today's win at Berrettini was super performance from Roger, and a bad performance from Berrettini, but Roger made him look bad also. And Novak is looking like always. Now he's in the quarters. He loves this kind of games, like Rafa and Roger. So it's gonna be exciting to see who is gonna play the semifinals on Friday. Alright, my friends, that was all for today. Have a nice evening. Bye bye.